by nisBOERE. My naam is Kloete en ek het natuurlik vandag weer my paneel. My gunsteling paneel. Julle is regtig my gunsteling paneel van alle panele.
Van al die presenters van die soos jy ook ons gunsteling.
Ag, jy julle vlei my. Corneille Liebenberg, bemarkingsbestuurder van Laagveld Agrochem. Baie welkom. Philip Venter, markontwikkelingsbestuurder vir Laagveld Agrochem.
Hallo Tim.
Yes, ek word net al hoe beter met hierdie goed. Russell du Preez. Ja, stigter van die Russell Stone groep. So, weet julle wat 'n tilapia is? Dit is nie soos 'n lapa nie,
Nee, is 'n visie.
Is 'n visie. Het julle dit al geëet?
Also geproe, ja.
Ja, maar julle het vasvatte tilapia.
Dis klein is met iemand alles wat jy vang en skiet self eet.
Het jy al soutwater tilapia
Nog
geproe?
nooit.
Ja, sien, ek is een voor vir julle. So kom kyk saam met my na soutwater tilapia op die warmste plek op aarde en soos die locals dit noem, Zini. Neil, tilapia, dis 'n baie niche ding. Wat het jou laat besluit om 'n plaas te begin?
This farm was here already. So in 1980s it was built, originally as a prawn farm, and they stopped farming prawns in 2004. It lay fallow for a few years. We took over in 2012, and we were originally doing dusky cob and spotted grunter here because of the salt water. So we have a pump on the beach, and we have a canal coming in from the estuary. So our water is very saline, it's like seawater. Then we had a problem with our water supply from the beach, and we couldn't get fertile eggs from the dusky cob and spotted grunter anymore. And we had seen over the years that tilapia naturally occurred in our ponds. They came in through the river pump system, and they grew up with the cob and the grunter.
Ah, so hulle het vir jou gekry.
Yeah.
Hulle het vir jou gekry. Wat is jou agtergrond?
Well, right from a young age, I wanted to breed fish. So I knew that was where I was going, and then I studied at Rhodes University, and then I've been involved in aquaculture in this region since 1989, so 31 years now.
Dis insane.
Yeah.
So hoe groot is jou land?
The land is 47 hectares, but we've got 26, 27 hectares of actual water area.
So hoekom soutwater? Wat maak dit anders?
We don't need salt water, but it's what is available to us on this site. And it's a far more sustainable source of water compared to the very constrained freshwater resources in South Africa and globally. And almost 90% of your 6 million tons of tilapia that's farmed globally is done in fresh water. And that is using a species called the Nile tilapia. In freshwater, it grows far quicker than the Mozambique tilapia that we're dealing with. But in saltwater, Mozambique grows twice as fast as the speed that it grows at in freshwater. And the two species are completely different. So we're working with an indigenous species here in saltwater. And the other aspect with saltwater is that your marine algae contain your omega-3 fatty acids, which is why people eat fish. They want the health benefit from those omega-3 fatty acids.
Okay, so nou hoe kry julle die water hier?
For these grow-out ponds, we've got a canal that comes from the estuary onto the farm, and at the end of that canal we've got a big pump that pumps up to the top of the farm, and everything then gravity feeds down to the ponds. That's the other thing with tilapia, is our water use is going to be far less than we were going to use with the marine finfish, because we want the algae to grow in the ponds. So we retain the water in the ponds for a lot longer.
Okay.
One of your main costs is your food in aquaculture. With tilapia, they do filter feed. So we're hoping to reduce our food input by them filter feeding on that algae and the other microorganisms in the open pond culture system.
Okay, so wat gebeur hierso in die dam?
This is the area that we call grow out, and that gets fed by fingerlings that come out of the hatchery section. And this is the longest sort of time that the fish spend with us, is in grow out, which they'll be about 2 months in the hatchery process and then 10 months in grow out.
So as ek nou my eie plaas wil begin by die huis, is dit moontlik?
It depends what you want out of it. If you want it for something to do at home and to then generate a little bit of food for your house, that's great. But if you want to make it into a commercial venture, then you need to reach a commercial scale.
So wat is jou volume op die plaas?
What we've modeled through input from people from all over the world, we're looking at around about 500 to 525 tons per annum.
Dis baie tilapia.
It's a lot, but when you see what people eat, it's a fraction.
Ek wil baie graag die res van jou plaas sien.
All right, let's go.
Azadi, you have the most fascinating job. Please explain to me about the breeding tank.
So in this processes on the farm, we collect the spawns from the breeding group and we take them to the incubation table where we incubate them and hatch the eggs. So in the tank, the males and the females will fertilize and they'll procreate, and from there the females will hold the eggs in their mouth.
So they go back and they pick it up?
They go back and they pick it up.
And it's their eggs?
It's their eggs, yeah. And that's how it is in the wild, and they know which eggs is theirs. From there, we take those eggs out of their mouth once a week, and we check the whole tank for all the females, and we take all the eggs and we put them into the incubation table.
That's insane. What is your background?
I was always involved in agriculture through my history, and through my course in studying marine biology, it was a natural mix to get into aquaculture.
Did you get eggs today?
Yes, we did.
Let's see an egg.
Okay.
Hello, little fishy.
Yeah.
How do you know it's a female?
The females will have the eggs in their mouth, and the males will be inactive.
This little fishy here,
Yes.
does she have a name?
She doesn't have a name.
Okay, so these are the eggs.
Yes, these are her eggs.
And now, how long does it take to hatch?
About 1 week, depending on the temperature. So this is one of our samples where we collect all of her eggs and we count the eggs and we measure her weight and her length to get her condition factor and how well she's doing in producing eggs.
So now what happens to her after this?
She goes back to the tank to continue the cycle.
What is important for you about the job that you do?
I guess aquaculture in our country is very new, and this farm is providing me a lot of exposure to this new industry to our country, which in many other parts of the world is actually really flourished and has been a means of moving agriculture into the 21st century.
Yeah, sustainability.
Sustainability, yes.
Gotcha.
So now I am going to take a picture of the eggs so that I can count it later and measure her weight and her length.
Why do you have to count it?
So I can relate how many eggs she's producing for her body size.
So how long before they actually get fished and sold?
So I guess from hatching, it's about 1.5 years-ish.
Okay.
So take this here.
So you measure her with water in it?
Yeah, so that she's not stressed.
Why do you put your finger there?
Sample 1, sample 2, sample 3.
Okay, gotcha. You measured how big she is.
How big she is, correct. And now we put the eggs into the jugs to be incubated.
Okay, so what happens now once you've put the eggs in?
So the jugs itself simulates the circulation of water as the eggs would be in the fish's mouth. So it's used so that the eggs are always in oxygenated water, so they don't lose the oxygen.
Right.
And once the eggs start to hatch, they start floating up and they float out of the jug into the trays.
Thank you so much
No problem.
for showing me.
Kusini is die warmste plek op aarde. Oeh. Na die breek kom ek uit die son net en dan kyk ek hoe dan met hierdie visse geteel word. Dudu, what are we doing now?
We just moving the babies from incubator to outside. You must put the water into the stay, and there's a wedge for the water. Take the nets.
Okay.
Must put your hand like that because to make the babies come together, and then come in.
Oh,
To the nets.
wow.
Yes. You must do it quickly.
Okay.
Now there's a wedge for the babies, no water. You must pour them here to the water.
Wow.
Spraying.
And now they're happy again.
Yes, they're happy. They will keep water. Now you must put the temperature, you must put the formalin and wait for the time to make the temperature the same.
Okay,
Yes.
I hear you.
Come side.
Shoo.
Yes, there's the babies, and you must put this the egg, this the air line.
Okay, and what does that do? Oh,
Make the egg.
oxygen.
Oxygen. Yes.
Neil, so wat gebeur hierso? Wat 'n deel van die proses is dit?
This is the nursery area. So after the babies have been in the incubator and they need to get their first feeding, they get moved into these ponds and we start feeding the little guys here. And they stay in this nursery area for about 8 weeks.
Shoo, en dan waartoe gaan hulle?
They go from here when they're about 2 to 5 grams in size. We take them to the very big half-hectare ponds outside where they're grown up to the marketable size. The nice thing with tilapia is it's a very diverse product. So it can be bought by people right from high-end sushi trade and big international lodges right down to the informal market. And we're aiming to supply to all of those.
Jou distribution kanale. Hoe kry jy jou produk by die mark uit?
We've got various markets. So the informal market, we rely on people coming to the farm gate after we've harvested to collect fish. And then they take it back to their areas and deliver it to informal traders who then will either value add through cooking processes or gutting and filleting. And then for the high-end market, we'll air freight down to Cape Town or Joburg or road freight down to Durban.
Well, will you show me what you do? Like, can I maybe
Well, in this
feed
pond,
the babies?
yes, there's some bigger babies in here, so let's go and feed them.
Okay.
Right, Kim, if you pick up this bucket, I'll open it for you. And then just pour some food onto the lid.
Onto the lid.
Onto the lid, and then, well, I'll pour it onto the lid, and then
What is it that you're feeding them?
It's a formulated feed that gets made by a local company into a pellet form.
Oh, wow.
Right, so stand close to the pond and pour it little bit by little bit.
With my hand?
Well, no, just tip it off the lid. A little bit more. More.
Come, fishy, fishy.
More. Lot more.
Wow, they are
Lot more.
hungry. That's amazing. Neil, ek is so geïnspireerd vir die werk wat julle doen. Baie dankie dat jy ons genooi het.
Plezier.
Okay, alles van die beste vir julle.
Dankie.
Van die begin van die seisoen af loer ons elke nou en dan in by African Marmalade. Kom ons gaan kyk hoe vorder hulle.
What has changed since the last time you were here is that we've put more crops on the ground. So we've done about 2.5 hectares of crops, and that's what is exciting. Our future plans are to attract more clients, to continue with the seed generation, creating more seeds for clients so that more people can actually replicate what we are doing. We are grateful for the support that we've received so far and the fact that the sponsor did not just give us the products, but they were there when we initially started the application, and beyond that, they've constantly checked on us, how we're doing, how our crops doing. We really appreciate that because we need the technical support in order for us to actually grow.
So in plaas van 'n restaurant of op 'n winkelrak, het ek besluit om op 'n besige Vrydagoggend Hillcrest toe te kom om te sien hoe ons produk tilapia op 'n straathoek geëet word. Mary,
Good morning, Pim. How are you?
good.
Excellent.
Okay, so dis 'n baie unieke setup. Wat
Thank
het
you.
jy laat besluit om dit te doen?
Well, Kim, there was a gap in the market that I felt for a healthy fast food option. So I've been in the food industry my whole life and decided let me try and start a small business on the side, see if we can get something like this off the ground. And so far the response has been excellent.
Okay, so verduidelik vir my, wat is die bestanddele hierso?
We have got a salsa, that's a tomato and paprika, roast paprika salsa, a basic coleslaw mix, and a quick cucumber pickle. Then the star of the show is the tilapia.
Okay, kom ons praat oor die tilapia.
Tilapia is a worldwide fish. You can find it everywhere. Very hardy. It will survive in a mud puddle if it has to. Very sustainable and an excellent protein and a very good tasting fish too. So it's often something that's overlooked being a freshwater fish. This here is a saltwater farmed tilapia. So it will have all that flavor of a saltwater fish and very sustainably farmed. Should we get busy?
Ja, let's do it.
Let's go ahead, away from you so it doesn't splash up. Okay, so while that cooks, we are going to get a few of these little taco breads out. Okay, so first we're going to put, this is the dressing for the coleslaw.
Okay. I mean, wie wil nou nie 'n tilapia taco hê vir ontbyt nie? Of vir middagete nie?
Kim, do you want to put some of that salsa on each one of those?
Sure.
Okay, so while this is nice and hot, we're just going to put a little bit of salt and pepper on it. We're just going to put a little bit of this cucumber pickle. Each one.
Oh, it's like amazing.
And then on top goes our fish.
Hallo tilapia. So wrap jy hom?
Just fold it like that.
Net so.
Yeah. Just got a little bit on the top. So just grab it on the sides,
Jy vou hom net so.
just like that.
Wowzer, kapowzer.
Cheers.
Cheers. Shot. Dis lekker.
Thank you very much. This here, fast growing, lots of them. It's cheap and it tastes amazing.
Dit proe baie goed.
It's the perfect fish.
So daar het jy dit. Dis 'n lekker manier om gesonde kos, lekker vis op die straat te eet.
That's so good. This is the best part.
Dis nou lekker straatkos. Corneille, wat doen die vis vir volhoubaarheid?
Nou, as ek gesê die see is vol visse, maar die see word definitief amper sê uitgebuit of misbruik die tempo waarteen vissery plaasvind en die feit dat jy hierdie kan ek wou sê op land kan doen en kunsmatig kan vermeerder en kweek is goed want mense raak al meer bewus van gesondheid en die omega se goed. So dis 'n baie beter volhoubare manier van voedselsprodusering as die gewone net uit die see uitleef.
Wat interessant is dit pertinent gedoen dat mense jou soos hy genoem het die high-end sushi restaurante daarvan gebruik maak. Jy het die scope om dit daartoe te vat, maar ek dink meer van toepassing in Suid-Afrika is die informele mark waar hy pertinent gesê het jy kan die varkvis by hom kom koop en dan kan jy self waarde toevoeg daartoe. En ek dink dis waar jy daai kreatiwiteit skep en die geleentheid vir mense om eie inisiatief aan die dag te lê of jy verlei om of jy bak kom in olie of so. So ek dink dit is 'n baie goeie beginsel.
Ja, ons het daai tacos gehad, het julle gesien?
Ja.
Dit was ongelooflik.
Eerstens wat vir my interessant was is dat jy hierdie ou ponds gehad het wat vir 'n ander doel was en ewe skielik kon jy dit hergebruik en daai kapitaal kon jy nie vandag regtig gespandeer het en dit effektiewe opbrengs op jou geld gekry het nie. En ewe skielik gebruik jy hierdie ou kapitaal en jy wend dit weer nuut aan. En ek dink daar is soveel van hierdie projekte wat rond lê wat jy teen 'n bargain kan optel en op die ou ende van dit gebruik en herbenut en daai kapitaal weer lewendig maak.
Dis 'n groot kommersiële besigheid, tilapia in die hele wêreld, maar slegs 10% van dit word in die soutwater verbou. Maar wat hy baie mooi uitgelig het, is die marine water word dan gebruik, wat die alge word dan omgesit in die omegas en dat hy basies soos hy het gesê 2 maal so vinnig groei. Ek dink dit gee jou daai ietsie nis hoe jy meer winsgewend tilapia kan verbou as jy toegang het tot die marine water. Ek dink die mark kan nog baie meer ontgin word soos die bevolkingsaanwas toeneem. Maar hy het dit pertinent as ons volume ook praat, het hy gesê dit moet op skaal verbou word. So hy het dit ook genoem dat mens sal dit nie in 'n klein agterjaartjie kan doen nie. Soos waarvoor hulle mik, ek dink is 500 ton het hy iets gepraat, weet. So mens moet groot gaan, dit moet op skaal verbou word.
Maar ek dink die groot ding wat mense altyd vergeet is prys. Jy kan horse mackerel nou omtrent koop vir R16 per kilo en ewe skielik hierdie goed moet op daai vlak kan kom wat jy kan sekere voerkostes absorbeer en jy kompeteer nog steeds met die see. So ergens soos die bronne uitgeput gaan word op die seekant gaan hierdie meer lewensvatbaar word. So dis die opgewonde kant en oor die volgende 20 jaar gaan ons meer en meer van hierdie tipe boerderye sien.
Corneille, in terme van tilapia, weet Suid-Afrikaners daarvan?
Ek dink nie so nie, hier en daar, maar ek dink is iets wat nog baie meer bekend gestel geword, die waarde daarvan kan beter bemark word. Daar is 'n verkeerde persepsie van varswatervis wat modderig proe en lekker proe en vol grate is en ek dink julle het dit eers ons daar aan die einde gedemonstreer, dit kan wel 'n lekker eetvis wees met die gewoontes en dan daai voel goed om te weet jy is nou nie besig om 'n skaars hulpbron uit te put nie. So nee, dit kan baie groei, maar ek dink definitief nie almal is tans ingelig nie.
Ek van daar inkom. Noord van ons grense is dit 'n basiese voedsel vir die mense. Daai varswatervisse uit die Malawi meer en al die riviere, dis alledaags. Dit is net ons wat bietjie ons is bederf op rooi vleis en hoender. So ek dink in die toekoms gaan dit definitief 'n groot rol speel.
Dit moet word, ja.
Jy het dit nou net reg gesê. Tilapia, die vis van die toekoms. Dankie dat jy saam gekuier het. Ons sien jou weer volgende keer. Tilapia!
Volgende keer kuier Mali by New Fresh in Hekterspruit naby die grens van Mosambiek, waar daar al vir jare met papajas geboer word. Toer oor die grens na Mohamba in Mosambiek, waarheen die papaja plantasies geskuif het. Ons ontmoet ook die kundiges wat die vrug se teeling en produksie al tot 'n fyn kuns ontwikkel het.